Let's get this show on the road. So the next person I'm gonna, so to make it simple, I'm gonna ask Christian to come back here. Christian, can you replace this Christian here? So we have a Christian replacement thing.
Thanks, so, Christian.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we're going to have this another time, huh? I mean, it's not going to go on the full day. Yeah. Do I need that big thing?
You told me it was in your watch.
Sorry, it was a lie. Which is the right button not to click?
The white one.
Yeah, data means creativity. So you see, we have been creative for you. Sorry. Oh, now I see that part. Yeah, here we go. I think, and we took that topic, data and creativity, because I believe we have, big challenges ahead of us in this whole area. I think here in this room, most of the people are involved with data, and we can do a lot of great things with data. But obviously, and we found out when we produced our software, and we were able to show layers and to show recommendations and to personalize content, that data is not enough. You also have to come up with an idea or a story and something that you want to show the customer. And that's what we want to talk about today, and that's what I'm trying to find out, how to better connect data and creativity in the future. I think I'm going to start a little, let's say fly high. I like these topics, like Germany and digitalization. I think we're far behind, and you can see that here. The market capitalization change in the top 100 companies in the US was 1,000 billion, $1 trillion added in market capitalization in the US and China, 600 billion in Germany, minus 40. So if you look at all the unicorns, meaning all the private held companies being valued more than $1 billion, we see 326 billion in the US in market cap, in China 150 billion, in Germany 8 billion. So my take from this is, as we do not generate any unicorns here in Germany and basically in Europe, our bigger companies also suffer from this, because they cannot get this innovation which is needed to face these new challenges. And I think another great challenge, and some of you might have seen this, a forecast of the digital advertisement market growing in the next 2 years is $48 billion. So what do you think the share of Google and Facebook is within that 48 billion, according to Goldman Sachs? Any guesses?
$32.
32 and 90. Goldman Sachs says 81%. So think about that. I mean, it's a fact if you look at their own predictions and the market growth. And I think it's also something that we have to live with, obviously, which we don't have to like, but we have to live with it, and we have to think of a strategy how to, live in this kind of world where, we're all working with our tools, and obviously Google and Facebook generate the best channels for us, and they produce the cheapest customers for us in this world. Yeah, it's 81. Oh, sorry. 81%. So I'm trying to tell you now, why we believe that is the case, and what could be a strategy for every one of us to cope with this kind of development that we all live in here in this fast changing times. First of all, we believe the most important part is to understand the value of data, intent data. I mean, there are three different data types in this world, or in the digital world. It's search, pretty good covered by Google. It is interest and demographics, pretty good covered by Facebook. And there's intent data, which pretty much every one of us produces. And you know, there are a lot of business models calling you with this kind of phrase, saying, you know, just put our tag on your website, and then everything's going to be fine. You know, you are data-driven, you will be successful, we're going to show you what's coming out of this. How do we do this? Well, we put certain algorithms will find lookalike customers within our pool, and you know, then we'll find out that Duplo customers might like your Opel Omega or your umbrella. We say that doesn't happen. You know? That's not the case. Duplo, people who like Duplo might also like some other Ferrero product. Yeah? Okay, but there's no connection to a car. You might be interested more in Opel Omega if you just were interested in a Volkswagen or in a Mercedes or whatever. Yeah? It's usually within the same category. Sometimes, I think we know diapers and beer get sold in supermarkets, yeah? Because the wife says, get the diapers, and the guy says, well, I want beer. Yeah? So, I mean, there's this connection, but usually this is a very few examples of that. So some of you I already showed, but we went with a new computer to Adidas website, put 4 products in the basket. We wanted to see what kind of commercial do we see. For 12 days we saw Adidas commercials. So far so good. I mean, everybody expected that. Retargeting. On the 13th day, all of a sudden we saw Nike, Puma, Reebok, ASOS, whatever. And that is the kind of data leakage that we're talking about when we say, well, it's your digital data. You know, another great story here. If you talk to managing directors of digital companies, asking them, you know, can we use your data to do a presentation? Then they usually go, yeah, you can use everything, but not my sales and revenue information and everything else you can use. And then you go on their website and you see, I don't know, 60 tags on their thank you page where they're sending out in real time this information to pretty much the whole world, but they're not aware of it. And that's why we believe in these days the data takers actually win, and the ones that give away their information pretty much lose. We could also call them data predators or data victims, but I think because we are not aware of the value that our own data actually brings to the GAFAs in this world, the Google, Apples, Facebooks, and Amazons. That's why they say, well, you know, put our tag on your website and we will find you the best customers, because our data is very important for them, very, very important. You know, that's why we want to show you how you can deal with this kind of challenge in this time. We see 3 major challenges for your business. First one we talked about, it's Google and Facebook dominate media. 81% of growth is being generated by these 2 companies. So there's a growing dependency and increasing costs. But let's not moan about that and say, well, that's bad. No, it's not bad. It's just how it is, but how can we deal with it? And I think it's, as you here in the room usually have resources for this kind of topic analytics, I think it's very important that you guys say, well, we as a company, we will probably not produce our own walled garden like a big ecosystem does, but we at least value our data higher, try to look into the data that we can generate ourselves, and the stronger we are with our own data, the less dependent we will be from other companies. Second challenge is the data leakage I talked about. So, this year, I mean, we can be on that list too. Sorry, I know some of the competition said, you know, why aren't you on that list? Yeah, sure, we can be on the list too. And it's not bad, you know, it's not that all these companies are bad. But they are taking the data in real time from your site and, you know what kind of products people are interested in, how much revenue you do, and so on. And if you look at our GAFAs, you know, they are not sending away their data to everybody in this world. Because they have realized that this is just, you know, not as good as it could be. That's something, you know, we want to make aware of. And then we have our new data privacy regulation, where at the moment there's no replacement of safe harbor. Now there's a data shield, I think there's a privacy shield they're talking about, but it doesn't look like it's going to be implemented soon. So at the moment it's really forbidden to send out private information outside of the EU. So if anybody of you uses an American newsletter tool, forbidden at the time. Please be aware of this. And the definition of personal information has been broadened a lot. And I think it's good, you know. Imagine, why is China so good in digital? They just put up walls around their country and say, you know, okay, what are these other guys doing? Well, we don't have a good search engine, but we don't have a good social media network. We're going to take 2 years to build one, and now they have one. Yeah. I know we cannot do that, but I think it just tells us how easy it could be to produce our own ecosystem. So again, what is, you know, in it for you as the responsible people in analytics? Value your data higher. You know, 1/3 of all marketing decisions are being influenced by analytics. I think in this room probably 100%. But still out there, 2/3 of marketing spendings are not influenced by analytics. So I think, you know, the development is definitely going into the right direction. On the other hand, it's really important then that you are aware of, you know, how sessions are defined, for example, how your system is set up, what kind of attribution model you use. I mean, that's something that we discussed earlier in the last years, but still when I look into different installations, so in the real world, you know, we see a lot of differences. We have done an analysis comparing Google Analytics and our attribution models. Using the same attribution models, we see differences of 20%, you know, where the customer comes from. And that's the big advantage of Google Analytics, you know, that all the Google channels are already in there. Yeah. That's something, you know, we have to acknowledge. It's just good. Yeah. But the problem is all the other channels are underestimated. And that's something that, you know, we think is important to focus on as well. So how can you make yourself less dependent? How can you become the data taker? We see, first of all, collect all your data in a user-centric database. I think it doesn't work if you have a tool for your mobile, for your app, and another tool for your website, and then you have another CRM, and you have your affiliate network, and everybody gives you information, and all the responsible people tend to focus on the best number they can generate for their own liabilities, obviously. But it should be a single database in the end. Build up internal resources. I think I don't have to tell you guys. Make the customer data available across all devices. And that's something we are focusing on at the time. And I encourage you to have a look at our stand over there, because we're now showing you how to send data as a DMP to third-party networks in real time. So we're one of the few DMPs that can really send out information in the moment, you know, when it's generated, like somebody's looking at how to cancel your contract, for example. I think usual systems today sometimes need up to 48 hours to process information to offer this person a new contract. We can do this within minutes. then we are able to personalize this user experience and visualize and act on your success. So, how can you become a data taker? First of all, is it a make or buy decision? Shall we, buy stuff and just depend on other ecosystems, or shall we do it ourselves? And usually, it's somewhere in between. Pretty hard to exactly say where we are, but we have certain advantages if we make it, where there's more know-how internally, we have more transparency of what's going on. Well, maybe there are less surprises, maybe there are more surprises, and obviously the data security part is under control. If you buy stuff, the advantage is time to market, and you have a lot of third-party interfaces where you can immediately connect with the whole market. And the question is there a solution that also gives you the data, and the value of the data, and the ownership of the data, that can integrate all the devices, and is in the end a single technology, and not something that was acquired over 10 years from all corners of the web. And that's obviously a surprise, that's what we're trying to do. And how can we do it? Well, one very, very important thing is to consolidate the different devices we have. That's why everybody else except for Google and Facebook has difficulties in this moment to generate good profiles, because we are not able to connect the devices. Who of you is logged in, or who of you uses Facebook? Show me. Who of you doesn't use Facebook either? Well, there are 3. You don't use Facebook anymore. Usually we are logged in with every single device on Facebook. So they know, and now they have their Atlas network, so they can target us pretty much anywhere, anytime. So it's already there, We already live in a world where our advertisement is being sent out cross-device. But Facebook and Google are the only ones to do it, because the other ones don't have the information. And that's why we are telling our customers, connect your data via our cross-device bridge, where you are able to get a hashed login into a single data pool, and we will be able to offer you that information again via an API. And I know that we started with this product last year, and I told everybody, you should bring your data, and I know there's a lot of difficulty in the German market again, because Germans always say, well, are we allowed to do this, That's why German car makers are not sending out their personal or unpersonal anonymous information from a car, whether there is a traffic jam on the highway. That's why Google has to do it, because we thought, are we allowed to do this? And in my opinion, this is just one of these examples again. The market is already there, it's growing with 81%, and taking most of the market growth for these companies. And we are thinking, should we, maybe not? And yes, I say we have to offer a solution where the rest of the market gets access to cross-device information. And I encourage everybody here to, join that pool. We already have 80 million devices for the DACH region in our pool. I think we have 7-digit logins per day in that pool. And that's a pretty amazing number. It's still in beta, but I think we're going to be launching this year also as an API to the market. So, we're not an analytics tool anymore. We are now also a DMP, and we have marketing automation capabilities. I know that most of you use our front-end Q3. And I know that most of you think it's slow and it's not usable, and we got to change something with this. I know all this, really. That's why we developed for 3 years this suite. And I think it makes sense. And I see a lot of tools developing tools, that go in that direction where you say, well, we are integrated, Google 360 and marketing clouds all over the place. The question is, where do you give your data to? And if a marketing tool is now developing a 360 solution, they're coming out of the idea that we have a single big data pool, and you should, get even more information and get your CRM data into that third data pool, that they will have like the one single user base all over the place. And we just believe you have to be the owner of your data still. You shouldn't just give it away to somebody who then uses it to optimize maybe your competition. And that's a very important part in the analytics part in the beginning. So that's our database, which is only for you. The DMP is also only for you, and then we have a cross-device bridge where we share some information about devices, and we have a DSP where we set a third-party cookie pool, but there is no other information connected, and that is very important. So coming back to data and creativity, what could be a solution? We're talking about this all the time, but what could be one of the solutions? And I'm really looking forward to our panel today where we talk about display advertisement. I had a very interesting discussion with Tim Schumacher, who was the founder of IO and the AdBlock Plus product. I think 20% or 25% of the market already are blocking ads. And you can discuss the business model, and I don't want to do this today. I want to discuss why 25% of us here are blocking ads, because they believe that it's not helpful, and it slows down my mobile speed and it costs money. And so that's one area where we think, we could be better, and really looking forward to that discussion. I think also storytelling has been there for, 1, 2, 3 years. People are saying, well, we need stories, we need a story of a company, and we don't just want to see the same product all over and over again. That's not a story. Story is if you see a product and then hear something about the company and then maybe something about the category, and that storytelling, we are not yet good at, I'd say, especially in digital. And native advertisement, and I think it's funny, I talk to a lot of people and they will say, native? What is native? What does native mean? It's like advertisement? Well, it's just connected better to the content. I don't know what the exact explanation is, but I think we will have to discuss that later. So, about Webtrekk, what have we achieved? I know most of you are still not using a suite. I know, some of you will change in the next few weeks, I know. Some of you will take until the next go, but we believe that half of our customer base will be moved to the suite within this year. We already have a lot of success stories for our suite products. We have 22 new suite customers. We're growing 30% like the years before. And we're pretty proud of that, and want to say thank you to the whole team for this. What are we going to look into for next year? Obviously, we want to, at the end of the year, we want to take the cross-device bridge out of beta. We want then until mid-2017 transfer all the remaining customers to our suite, and then we want to grow another 30% again. And I never did that, but I was asked to show some of the numbers, just very short. That's how we see development over the last years. Our funding has really helped us to grow, and if we see the year-to-date numbers of new business, it also looks very good that we have another record in 2016. And I'm really looking forward to that day. I'm really will be, hopefully talking to most of you and see you all at the party tonight. And please take away that, you should become a data taker. and not a data victim. And thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy the conference.